Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. I'm Cheryl and I have another bag video for you guys today, except this one's a little bit different. I had recently purchased a bag pre-loved from Poshmark, and so I wanted to share a little bit about the process there and my thoughts on getting a bag from the pre-loved market. I also wanted to say thank you for those of you that have recently subscribed to my channel. I look forward to hearing from you guys in the comments section more in the future and just getting to know your thoughts. It sounds like there's tons of you out there that are also fellow luxury handbag lovers and fashion lovers too. So it's nice to meet you and thanks for subscribing. I'll start with a little bit of a background as to why I purchased this bag pre-loved. At the time, I was looking for a bag to take on an upcoming city trip. And I had, a couple smaller bags like the Pochette accessoire. I had, my Pollen bag that you guys had seen, but both those bags were still a little bit on the smaller side and I knew I needed something bigger. At the time, I've been selling a few things on Poshmark from my closet, and Poshmark does a really good job of advertising to you, what you should be getting based on your viewing history and based on what you've sold. And so this bag popped up. It is the CELINE NANO luggage in the black drummed calfskin and in the silver hardware. And I didn't have anything like this in my collection. It's also a bag I've been eyeing for a really long time. Pretty much in 2010 when it came out, when it was first designed by Phoebe Philo, 2010, 2011 timeframe, I was obsessed with this bag. This was for the micro size, which is bigger and doesn't have the crossbody strap. And in hindsight, I'm really glad I didn't get it because I think that version definitely looks a lot more dated now. And the nano version, I think for my lifestyle, having a crossbody strap is a bonus. And so I saw this bag. The seller at the time had listed it for 2,900 Canadian dollars, which is still a little bit steeper, and she probably just wanted to factor in, the commissions you'd have to give, which is 20% on Poshmark. It's quite steep, especially when you're working with prices in the 2000s. And so I started to negotiate with her. I think I gave her an offer of $2,100. We went back and forth. And so I did a look on other sites. I looked on eBay, I looked on Messier Collective, and factoring in duties and taxes, I would probably be paying still around, anywhere between $2,500, $2,700 for bags that weren't in as good of a shape, bags that had scratches. A lot of the bags I saw here on this part that protrudes out, they'd be scratched because maybe the owner before would bump into rough surfaces and get that scratch, or they just wouldn't be in really good shape. With this drummed calfskin leather, it is a lot more soft and supple, and so the bags would just be in really misshapen and lose a little bit of their structure. And this bag, I do have a purse organizer in it now to keep it even in better shape. But if I take out the organizer, this bag is still in really good shape, and judging from the date code, it was from 2014. And so I just wanted to pull the trigger. I think at the time I was like, hey, I need a bag for this trip, let's just do it. And it's not how I typically like to shop. And so I bought the bag. The seller shipped it right away within an hour. I was really pleased about that. And then it went through to the Poshmark headquarters where they would authenticate it. And with Poshmark, if you buy any item that's over a $700 price tag, they do send it to their headquarters first to authenticate it before it gets shipped to you. So it's not shipped directly from the seller to your house. So it took probably a week and a half. I think at that time Canada Post was having some issues. I think there was bad weather in certain parts of the country, so it took a little bit longer. I was getting a little bit anxious that I wouldn't get this bag in time, because with Poshmark you have 3 days, not 3 business days, 3 days after you receive the bag to accept the purchase. And if there was something wrong, you could dispute it, they would work with you. But after the 3 days, pretty much it's assumed that you've accepted the order and it's done, it's finalized. And so I was worried that, if I was going on my trip, bag arrived after, I wouldn't have time to you know, go through the authentication process myself, take a look at the bag, and by the time I came back, I would be forced to own this bag. And so I was a little bit worried. I did send a message to customer service. They didn't really help me. They basically said, hey, if the bag comes after you're gone, you know, we'll see what we can do if it's not authentic, but pretty much it comes when it comes. The bag arrived at Poshmark HQ, which is in Richmond, BC. It arrived there, and it was really only there for maybe, I want to say anywhere between 2 to 3 hours, and I got a notification saying that Poshmark had authenticated it and that it was authentic and that they were going to ship it to me right away. It did raise some red flags. You know, I'd read some reviews on Purse Forum and Reddit, you know, saying that the authentication process isn't great. These were oftentimes from sellers, you know, that would send in their actually authentic items, and Poshmark would send it back saying that it was inauthentic. So kind of the reverse way around, but also at the end of the day, I understood that whoever's doing the authentication at Poshmark, you know, they would get tons of bags and whatever other luxury goods coming in. No one person can be an expert on every single luxury brand, you know? So if whoever got my bag wasn't a CELINE expert, she could just do kind of the bare minimum check. But some of these super fakes out there are really good, and you really have to have detailed knowledge on the brands. And so it coming to me, you know, getting authenticated after a couple hours, I didn't have a lot of confidence, but I knew already that I would likely get my bag authenticated by a third party. And so the bag came to me. It was pretty nicely wrapped up. The box was actually package taped all around. It had tons of packaging tape, which I can see that as a bonus, you know, in case the bag or the box gets tampered with in transit, you know, someone opens the box, it switches out the bag, puts a brick in the box, which I've heard horror stories about. Then I knew that the bag was going to be kept safe with all the packaging tape. And so secondly, the bag came in its own dust bag, of course, and then a card that said that it had gone through the Poshmark authentication process and it was validated by so-and-so. So I received the bag, and I actually sent photos right away to 2 sites. The first was Real Authentication, and the second was Authenticate First. These are both third-party authentication services that I had used before, and they have pretty good turnaround time. It was anywhere between 24 to 48 hours, unless they needed a different photo from you, and you'd pay a nominal fee. I don't remember it off the top of my head, but it was under 25 US dollars, and they let you know whether the bag is authentic. After sending my photos in, both the sites had said this bag was authentic, so that gave me peace of mind. But something I wanted to share in my process was that on Poshmark, you are allowed to list counterfeit items. I saw that on the seller's website. Again, I want to reiterate the fact that I was a little bit swept up by just wanting to get this bag, that I wasn't thinking clearly. And I probably wouldn't have purchased this bag, you know, in hindsight with some sober judgment. And so on her site, there were bags, you know, like the CELINE bag, there was, I think, like another Louis Vuitton bag, a Gucci bag. All the descriptions said authentic, you know, their prices were in the thousands, seemed legit. Tons of photos said authentic, guaranteed, etc. So those were her authentic bags. And then there would be other bags. There was a Chanel bag that was listed for, I want to say like $300. And then in the description, so it wouldn't say authentic, but it says price reflects. And then what I soon learned was that on Poshmark, you are able to list a counterfeit item. And then a lot of times what people would often do is just say price reflects, meaning price reflects the authenticity of the item. So that is, in hidden words, supposed to tell you that this is a counterfeit. I think because they don't want to straight up advertise, you know, counterfeit bag on sale, they just simply write price reflects, and that's supposed to tell you, the buyer, that it is likely a counterfeit bag. So she had a mix of those bags, and it was a reckless thing to do. I'm glad that my bag came out to be authentic, but it could have been worse. It could have been a super fake, and she was just trying to pass this off as a real bag by selling it at an increased price. You know, that could have happened. But you know, I got it double authenticated. I also sent photos to a blogger. Her name is CELINE, and she has a blog and an Instagram account called Fairly Curated, and she buys a lot of her CELINE bags secondhand, and for also a nominal fee, she will help you, to the best of her knowledge, authenticate your purchases. And so I sent a few photos to her too, because I felt that she was really knowledgeable, and she also said it was good, it was an authentic bag. So you know, having had triple authentication on this bag, I feel good about it. But it was probably a reckless thing to do, buying from someone who had both, you know, fake and real bags on their account. I shouldn't have done that. It was pretty reckless. And you know, all in all, I can say I had a good experience as a whole. But was it worth the stress of not knowing if it was a real bag for, you know, a day or two while I was waiting for the authentication? You know, even after I had real authentication and Authenticate first look at it, I was still weary. You know, I wanted to send it to yet, you know, another person, get a third opinion on it. And so it wasn't, I don't know if that was worth it buying from Poshmark. I think it's one thing if I had bought it from eBay, from a Japanese consignment seller. I really trust them, and they stand behind their product, and they're also professionals, right? And so if anything happens, you can reach them. With just a personal seller, you know, this person could have just shut down her account the next day and taken my money and left, and I would have no way of contacting them again. So that's just something to think about. So that's my process on the whole Poshmark purchasing of pre-loved luxury bags. I am weary to do it again. I think that, you know, unless you were getting a really good deal and you had done a ton of due diligence, it's probably better just to save yourself the hassle. I'll just give a quick overview of this bag. This is the nano size of the CELINE bag. And so this bag is from the Phoebe Philo era. It has the accent over the E, which in 2018 was removed as a decision by CELINE. And it's got a little compartment here, a really tiny compartment. My finger really only goes to there, which, you know, is pretty useless, but I found that I can easily fit band-aids in here for my toddler, so that's great. The inside of the bag, it has a zip closure and it's suede lining, which is also another reason why I got a bag organizer for it, just because suede is so delicate. And then it has a slip pocket here. The back is pretty simple, no back pocket, but it does have a loop meant for your sunglasses. I have, you know, just hung my sunglasses on here, and it's been pretty handy to have at times. The strap is quite long, and as someone who's 5'1", it hangs, you know, way below my hip. It's just not how I would like it to look. So what I do is detach it, and then I tie a very loose knot, and then reattach it. And I found that, you know, if I'm careful to untie it when I'm not using the bag, then it hasn't left any creases. And when I untie it and there's a little bit of a fold, after a night or so, it loosens back up, you know, which really speaks to the quality of CELINE leather. It's really beautiful, you know, it's just beautiful to touch. It feels solid. And I've actually had this bag caught in the rain at least 5 times, and it's been like downpour, you know, and I've had, you know, it's like it's almost completely wet, and get back into the car or wherever I am, I do quickly wipe it off, but it's still good as new. And I can really attest to the quality here, because this bag, like I said, is from 2014, and you know, the glazing, the owner obviously kept really good care of it, took really good care of it, and the glazing is all still intact. There's no cracking on the glazing, and the stitching and everything, there's no loose threads. It's definitely a really great bag. And even the handles here, I know sometimes the handles can be really wonky, and mine's sort of doing that already. When you wear the bag crossbody because your body's pushing up against it. The leather is so soft that the handles do tend to warp a little bit, but I think that's okay. I don't think it really ruins the integrity of the bag. So I came on here to share my experience on Poshmark, but also maybe just wanting to get some reassurance from you guys. What do you think of this bag? I do have a little bit of buyer's remorse. I tried, you know, selling this back to Fashionphile, Yuki's Closet, and Retouche here in Canada, reseller here in Canada. They all quoted me anywhere from 1,200 to 1,400 Canadian dollars. It's $1,000 less than what I paid for it, and having only had it for a couple months, I didn't want to lose that much money so fast. So I think I'll hang on to her for a little bit. I think it also speaks to the social media phenomenon of bags just becoming out of style really soon. You know, I watched, you know, a whole bunch of TikToks and videos saying, you know, CELINE luggage bag is over. It was so hype around in like 2015 when Kendall Jenner was carrying it, and now nobody wants it anymore. Yeah, like a lot of influencers have deemed this bag to be old and just over. So what do you guys think? Do you think this bag is over? Having used it for a couple months now, it's been just really great to use. It holds a lot. It's really comfortable to wear. And I think she's really cute, you know? I often take her out just to admire her little robot face. Like, I think the quality and the construction is so great, and this is just a bag that signifies, you know, the Phoebe Philo era of CELINE that we all know and we all love, and it's iconic. That's how I feel about it. I don't know if it's over, but you know, with the social media hype, it can feel that way sometimes, and I question myself. I'm like, should I just have bought something else with that $2,000, you know, something else that's a little bit maybe more on trend right now? What do you guys think of this bag? Is it over? Did I buy into this bag way too late? Or do you think it's an iconic classic for the brand? Or if you yourself have purchased a pre-loved bag from Poshmark, what was your experience? Was it good? Was it bad? Share with me down in the comments below. Again, thank you so much for watching. As always, I appreciate your comments. I love reading all of them and hearing what you guys think. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks. Bye.